Hey, my name is Ryan with the Kiln CrossFit. We're coming at you right now with video number 3 of the running series. Number 1, we sort of broke down shifting the getting a paradigm shift on how to run, the form that we should take while we're running. Video number 2, we talked about the foot strike and where your foot should fall, and using our ankle the way that it was designed, right? This video number 3, I wanted to talk a little bit about footwear. So, sometime around the late 60s, the 70s, right? We had an individual, I forget his name, but he was with Nike, and he went to Australia to study some of the way that the Aboriginals would run, right? They would run long distances, they would run a lot, and they were all in great shape. So he brought back to the United States running and jogging, and around that same time he needed to develop a shoe that would allow people to run and to run every day and to get this awesome new form of exercise, right? So they could all get in shape. The problem was people didn't know how to run, right? Their mechanics were all screwy, and so they would run the wrong way because they weren't ever taught the right way, and their feet would hurt when they were running, right? They were heel striking, and so their feet were hurting. So the running shoe began to have a thicker and thicker cushion on the back so that your foot wouldn't hurt so much when you would run, right? So then people would heel strike more, and they needed more cushioning because they were getting injured more, or they were buying new shoes all the time because they thought it was their shoe was breaking down, and the pain was because their shoe was breaking, so they needed new shoes. And so it just sort of perpetuated this problem. And now you go to the running store and you've got like a 3-inch heel, so you're going from 3 inches, you're basically running in combat boots essentially, and it's just causing all sorts of crazy problems, right? What we want to do is get away from elevated heel as much as possible. So there are starting to be lots of options when we think about a minimalist shoe. Basically what we want is from the heel to the toe to have no difference, right? There's no rise from the toe to the heel. And there are lots of shoes out there now, the Innovates or the Scora shoe. Nanos are getting better. There's still a couple millimeter difference between the heel and the toe, but it's pretty much zero, right? So because we are focusing on our foot placement being that we're landing on the ball of our foot, the big fat cushion on the back is not important at all, right? What we want is a shoe that has sorry, Emerson's over there with the jump ropes. So we don't want a heel. We want it to be flat toe to heel, right? We don't want anything raising up our heel. We also want the sole of our shoe to be flexible so that we have a freedom of movement in our foot, so that our foot can move the way that the foot was designed to move, right? So that we can use all of the parts built into our foot, so that we can use those the mechanics of our foot, the shock absorbing, it's built right into our body, right? Our skeletal system, our muscles and tendons and all that. So to go from a super crazy shoe that has the big fat pillow on the back to flat might take a transition period, right? So you might spend 20 to 15 minutes a day in your flat shoes while your feet are getting sort of used to the new shoe, right? Because if you're used to being up on your tippy toes, basically in heels all the time, then your Achilles tendon and all of those things are gonna shrink a little bit. They're gonna be used to being shortened, so they're gonna shorten. So you're gonna need to work yourself into a flatter shoe, you know, sort of a little bit over time. Even if you buy a flat shoe and sort of put an insert inside, like to turn your Nanos into lifting shoes, they have those inserts that you can put in the back, right? Just something to elevate your heel a little bit, even just an insert that makes you taller inside of your shoe, that you can slowly, sort of gradually work yourself down. You can do that way, or just spend longer amounts of time each day in your shoes and so that it doesn't hurt anymore, right? Also, I recommend spending as much time as you can barefoot. Whenever you're home, if you know you're going to be inside, just kick the shoes off and just walk around barefoot, because that is as flat as you're ever going to be, right? So encourage spending time around your house barefoot, getting shoes that are minimalist shoes that are flat from the toe to heel, as flat as possible, and that have a flexible sole so that they move with your foot while you're running, are the sort of tips that we're focusing on video 3.